God, I need a haircut. Holden Captiva workshop put EGR on, and it started, knocked, ping, turned off, and it wouldn't go again. All right, naturally, biggest problem with these things when you go out to them is they've always got flat batteries. So yeah, if you're diagnosing stuff, make sure, need a haircut, make sure the battery voltage is good, it's fully charged before you get near it. I'm going to flip you over and we're just going to have a quick look. So, all right, so they threw an EGR on it somewhere over there. They had all lines off, a whole bunch of wiring off. They had the ECU out, the fuse box, because that's the harness. They ran all that, so I'm hearing it. It sort of sounds like it wants to start. Fuel pressure comes up. It looks fine on data. When you're cranking, I think it's asking for 20 MPa. It gets it. So I just wanted to make sure the injectors are actually triggering. So I've whacked our good old Pico on there. The laptop's out, a bit hard to see there backwards. I'm going to run it again for you. I reckon it started on spray. So I don't know, a bit of carby clean or whatever they put in there to see if it's going to fire. But it's either got a blockage or, like I said, they said that it ran for a little bit, coughed, pinged, knocked, stalled. They couldn't get it going again. I reckon they have got a whole bunch of air in these, and these injectors don't like trying to fire with air behind it. If you remember your diesel class, it needed that fuel behind the spring and all that sort of fun stuff. So they don't like it, so it's quite easy to hurt these. I'm hoping they haven't. At the moment, I pulled off our high pressure pumps down in there. There's the control valve's hiding under there. I pulled off the plug, so on this one the default's open, so it's giving it full pressure, full flow, so we're up near 100. I'm hoping it's enough to bleed these out. They are a pain. People crack lines. I don't like it. It should bleed via the injector. The problem is the injectors are probably hurt. So I'm going to give this a crank. I've got the weld on here at the moment. Like I said, battery's flat. I've got my GYS. It does it. It's not going to do enough in the 5 seconds we're trying to crank it. So let's have a look. So I'm going to roll over, going to hit run on this. Our trigger's set just to above 1 amp. I don't know, God, hard to see there. That's inverted, and I'll cut the tops off. So I got it on the 60 amp probe. It's not going to pull that. It was pulling, oh God, 15. So I'm going to run it. That should trigger off, and let's give it a crank. Okay, there's no fault codes in this, nothing like that. So we'll give it a crank. Watch our tacho, that will give us a crank signal if we're actually cranking, if it's getting something. And we'll have a listen. Oh, we're running. How good am I? Let's have a look at that scope pattern. So really, I think this was out of it, full of air. And they've been trying it for, I don't know, all week. Let's go find our pattern. Oh, there we go. There's one injector. There's our injectors there. They don't look too bad. As you can see, they're pulling about, I don't know, 20 amps. So that's just all we got to do. 1 amp clamp. We can see it's got a trigger. We can see how it's turning on and off. There's your primary and your peak, but we're just starting it. So I'm going to plug. Let me get my light. At the moment, I've got, I don't know if you can see, I've got to put my hand in there. There's our plug for our regulator. And she goes, I don't know if you can see that little brown, you can see my fingers. There we are, we're on. Let's give it another go. Alright, I'm going to have fault codes for that, but like I said, I gave it full pressure on this to try to bleed it out. Let's see what happens. It wants to. We'll give it full pressure again, we'll bleed it out. We'll get there. We're getting there. It's full of air. I'll try with some throttle. It's not going to like us, but Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. It's always electrical, right? Go over. It's always electrical. Look at the smoke at the back of the thing. Jesus Christ. This thing sounds terrific. If I could show you guys what smoke looks like. Because a diesel's got to get all the air out. It will smoke, it will run rich, it will just, it's running like a bag of shit, this is. Anyway, I'll put it back in a sec. Oh God, it's running, but, I'm going to flip you over again. So, with the one control, that's open because I took it off, but otherwise it's saying injector one stuck closed. That would start doing a thing, and then that second code's a worry because to me it's more like, no, I'll call it a throttle body. It's not, it's an intake air valve on a diesel. Remember, they don't need a throttle body as such. Diesel controls RPM by fuel and all the fun stuff. That one there, it's got an intake hose leak. I'm not convinced that's the problem, but they're going to have to fix those two problems first, so we know they're there, and go from there. Unfortunately, the intake hose is like $700 and a job and a half, and the injector is probably going to be about, I don't know, guess $5 to $1,000 around there somewhere. But there's no point chasing problems when you've already got other problems in there. No one's got the magic bullet, but it is running. They couldn't get it started. Yeah, another day in paradise. Have fun. Oh God, here we go. I didn't do this. Just so you know, and a little bit of a heads up, whenever you're doing some sort of scanning, ignition on, looking at, data or whatever, make it a good habit to put some sort of battery maintainer, something to keep the battery topped up so you don't, that's on diag mode, so that's putting in a constant 13.7. Even if it's a battery charger, nothing worse than battery going flat on you or voltage dropping while you're in there, doing things, and then modules failing and dying. Classic example, BMW footwell modules. Car drives in, it's fine, not a problem. You're playing with it, battery goes flat, and then you end up with no windows, no blinkers, no headlights, and customer says, but hey, what you do to it? I drove it in. It's a common fault on them, but if it happens on your watch, yeah,